Been nice meeting you guys so far. I don't know how much y'all know about Waterloo, so I'm going to go through a little bit of the story here, tell you where I came into this equation, and let you know a little bit about the brand before I was around as well. So probably for starters, the name Waterloo, I don't know if that's a big thing for you guys, where brand names come from, but Waterloo is the original name of Austin, Texas. So Austin was known as Waterloo up until the late 1800s or so. A guy by the name of Stephen F. Austin came into town, founded the city, and decided to name it after himself. So that's how Austin became Austin. But you will see, if you travel around Austin, Waterloo's a very, very strong name in the city. There's buildings, streets, parks, all kinds of stuff named Waterloo. The original founder of the brand, Daniel Barnes, also is the same guy that created Waterloo sparkling sodas. So he did those, had a desire to get into the spirit space. So he has Treaty Oak Distilling, which is one of the first DSPs ever given out in Texas. You guys were a little behind the rest of the country as far as the laws kind of changing from the Prohibition era to the current time. So Texas was late to the game as far as when distilleries started to be allowed in the state. So that's where Treaty Oak came in. A little bit of my background. I've been in the spirits business for about 17 years or so. My first role was I launched Fireball Whiskey in the U.S. And that was a fun ride. That was a fun entry, as you can imagine, into the spirits business on the supplier side. Launched Las Vegas, Nevada, where I live, the state of Nevada, and helped launch Mexico and some other markets with that brand. So that was a great ride. Went and worked for a brief time at Patron, and at that point, maybe after not a long time, about 6 months working at Patron, I got a call from a gentleman who offered me a role at this company called Empress Gin, and he said, "Hey, we have this really great gin from Victoria, BC, and think it might be kind of fun. Would you like to run the Western U.S. for us?" I'm like, "Well, that's a nice jump up. I think that sounds really great. I'd love to be at a startup level of a spirits company," and I felt like it was an opportunity for me to really grow and learn at that point in my career. So I took that on, and we grew that brand to be the #2 selling super premium gin in all the U.S., #1 selling gin in all of Canada. Actually, #1 selling spirit in all of Canada. We outsold Patron, Grey Goose, Bacardi, every single brand, Empress Gin. Empress Gin is the king in Canada, which is pretty crazy for a gin. So strong gin market up there. We ultimately exited on that brand in June of 2022, and I went to work for John Paul DeJoria's family office in Austin, Texas, and I started exploring spirits pursuits for him and his team. And I was telling the guys earlier, some of the folks in here, that we were hunting down a distillery to make this product called Weber Ranch, which is 100% agave vodka. Led the acquisition on that for John Paul, and found this great distillery up in North Dallas in a town called Munster. And along that way saw 10, 20, close probably to 100 different distilleries around the country. We came across Treaty Oak. They had a great thing going there. They do great Texas bourbon and barbecue, and they had this great gin product that they just didn't really, it was kind of took a backseat to everything else they were doing. Me coming from a gin background, fell in love with it. So went back and we found a way to acquire the brand from them about 2 years ago. First thing we did was, the gin is phenomenal. The package was horrible. And so we said, how can we design a package that really emulates what's inside the bottle? We really wanted a package that looks as beautiful as the spirit inside. So we took about 6 months redesigning the package, and came out with this one you see here. And so far so good. It's been out for about a year now, and resonating really well, and getting some great pull through off the retail shelves on its own without having anybody hand selling the brand. So that's a good sign. Starting to see it show up on back bars around the country. We've taken it from just being a Texas brand, where it has a cult following in Texas. There is people that really search and hunt for this brand when they can't find it, but now we're in 25 states in about 18 months, and we'll be in all 50 by next year. So growing really fast. We're the fastest growing gin brand in the country right now. So yeah, really good. Yeah, it is good. So I guess the two brands that we actually acquired are the #9 here, which is fastball down the middle American style gin. It's a beautiful quality spirit, 9 botanicals, toned down on the juniper. So American style would be toned down on juniper, not that juniper bomb that you get from a London dry style. We really lean into the lavender and the citrus on this one. Another interesting botanical that's actually in all three of the gins would be the Texas pecan. Texas pecan provides it doesn't impart flavor on the gin, but what it does do is it gives it a really nice, silky, smooth, oily mouthfeel. So if you guys want to go ahead and try that one, let me know what you think. No, the clear, yeah. .94 proof.
For like it being born not chilled at all, that's surprisingly really sweet to say.
Not bad, right? Yeah.
Let's prepare first.
Yeah.
You don't hurt it out.
Yeah,
No. But and at 94 proof as well, right?
Really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah. So this one actually, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the SIP Awards. SIP Awards is a pretty great competition, global competition for spirits brands. Waterloo No. 9 just got a platinum award, which is the highest award you can get. There was only 4 of them given out in the entire world. So pretty amazing stuff. We're pretty proud of that one. We just got that award like 2 weeks ago. Pretty incredible. Yeah, thank you very much.
What's the base? The shirt.
Corn. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it like less than the gin? The other 10?
Yeah, so they're all, so we use, lavender, the grapefruit is the citrus, a little bit of lemon zest, coriander, anise, ginger, and licorice root. Yeah. So, but when you try it, you can kind of pull out the lavender and the citrus more so than the other ones. The recipe kind of calls for more lavender, more citrus. Yeah.
The licorice comes at the end.
It does, yeah. And you'll see on the barrel age, this thing is crazy. I couldn't figure out quite what it was. The second spirit right here is the it used to be called Antique. It used to be called Waterloo Antique. We found out that when we took over the brand, people were like, "What is Antique? That's a weird name, you know."
Someone just responded to my story with the picture, and they said the antique is fire.
Yeah. So we took off the Antique, and we didn't change anything about the brand. We just call it barrel aged now because that's what it truly is. We didn't want anybody guessing what antique meant. You know, barrel age is very clear. What we do is we put this product right here into new white oak char 3 bourbon barrels for a minimum of 2 years, and we lay it down like a bourbon. We have a rick house full of barrels, and we're not cutting any corners. We're not doing wood chips. We're not doing cask rested. We're not doing anything that the bourbon guys don't do. It's more expensive, but it yields an amazing product. We have We have gins as old as 13 years. And those are incredible spirits. So yeah.
Price difference on this one.
So retail, if you're going into like specs or total or something like that, this one's $29.99, $34.35, $40, $41, $42. So about $10, $12 difference between the three. Not at all. Yeah. This one is a bit allocated. When we acquired the brand, we only had 200 barrels, so we've since laid down a couple hundred more barrels. But it's picking up steam, especially as we're expanding. When it does play, Dustin said back here, he's like, we have an antique cocktail on our menu. It's been on our menu for years. That's kind of what happens when people put this one on the menu. It doesn't really leave. And so as we're getting into new markets and things, we're really picking up steam with this one. And so we're trying to lay back barrels as fast as we can to help keep up with the growth on that one. But allocation's not a bad thing either, right? I mean, I'm good with, if people really want it, you got to raise the price a little bit, things like that. It's kind of fun. Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. So this one, with that?
Is there any coloring?
No. 100% from the barrel. Pretty great, right? And so I was at our distillery 2 weeks ago. We just pulled barrels down that have been aging for exactly a year. They're already this dark. This Texas climate is insane. The way that these barrels are breathing and this humidity and stuff is just nuts. The barrels at the top of the rick house were kind of a little bit darker because it gets a little bit hotter up there. But even the ones down below that have only been aging a year, they all three do, yeah. All three, yeah. So it's the same base 9 botanicals in all 3 of the gins. And actually this is the same liquid, just in barrel.
It's fine.
It's crazy how different it is though, right?
It's not really tasty because of this cocktail.
Yeah. So what I was saying about the anise though is, or the licorice root is, it's interesting how the botanicals react in a barrel, which ones actually evaporate with the liquid and which ones stay prominent in the gin. It's very different. You would never be able to tell these are the same 2 base things.
Right.
Totally. Yep.
It's just, it pulls so much sweeter, but it also sips at the whiskey. It has so much more warmth to it.
Yeah. Great old fashions, great Negronis, really fun sours and things like that. You can you can be so playful with this one and really try. It probably will play in most of the classics. Just put a different spin on it.
We said up to 30.
Yeah. So this I can tell you right now, because I actually select the barrels. This is a blend of 4 to 5 year. We had a lot of 4 to 5 year barrels, and so we started pulling those ones down pretty quick. But I tell you guys, I tasted the 1 year like a week ago, and the 1 year is like super good. So I don't know. Probably don't need to go 13 years. And then lastly is our Prickly Pear and Rose. The Prickly Pear and Rose is these 9 botanicals plus Prickly Pear, Rose, and Hibiscus. That is what that one is. 94 proof, beautiful color. Really, we're still kind of figuring out what cocktails really play with this one. It's one of, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 other Prickly Pear gins on the market, and I don't know that they're really super dominant with like a big cocktail following. We're trying to figure out what exactly it's going to be. I hope this competition helps us figure it out. I drink this one at home pretty regularly. I either drink it like on the rocks or like with soda water. I just love the flavor of the actual spirit. But I've had some really fun stuff. I know somebody said they like a Collins in here. Incredible Prickly Pear Collins, really, really good. I'm sure it would make an awesome Southside. I don't think I've tried that one yet, but yeah, fun cocktail, really great gin. And this is actually our fastest selling one. It's only been out for about 9 months, and it's just crushing it at retail, flying off the shelves.
I think it's selling more than others.
So did you guys know Prickly Pear is like the #1 selling flavor in all of beverage right now, globally? Prickly Pear, #1 flavor. And we didn't know that when we created the gin. Well, we just found that out. We were at a convention out in Florida or North Carolina 6 months ago or so, and that was one of the big slides that came up on the presentation was Prickly Pear is the #1 flavor in beverage. It's like sodas, kids drinks, spirits, everything. Yeah.
No, I asked earlier, but the Prickly Pear, you grow it in the
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Post distillation. So we'll distill it. Post distillation, put some of that color back in there just to make sure it holds up and stays vibrant. Yeah. And so I was mentioning earlier, guys, the still there at Treaty Oak, we use a 500-gallon Vendome, a small batch still. We actually only do 250-gallon runs because we really love the product that comes out at the 250-gallon as opposed to doing bigger batches. But all of our flavor comes from vapor infusion. So what we do is we macerate all the botanicals. I'm sorry, not macerate. We grind down all the botanicals. We put them into muslin sacks and we put them into the first 3 chambers of the still, and all the flavor is extracted through vapors and comes out on the other side. And that's how we get 100% of the flavor in the gin. Different process. We feel yields a much better, flavor and quality to the gin. Most people are doing they'll put them in a tank and macerate them for a couple of days or whatever their process is, and that's kind of where a lot of the flavor gets extracted. This process seems to work better for us.
Do you ever find a trouble keeping that same profile #9 because of the brightness of the Prickly Pears?
Not yet. I mean, it's still so new though. This SKU is less than a year old, so we kind of don't know what we don't know. But so far, no issues with it. It's been pretty consistent batch to batch.
Do you have plans on expanding some more?
So funny. I was thinking about this week. I have something in my brain right now that I kind of want to try, but I don't know. We're so new with this one. We got a lot on our plate right now, but I have some things in my head that I really like to try. All your guys' information from John. I'll send you guys an email. Just want you guys to have my contact. If anything ever comes up, and if you guys ever can do anything locally with our stuff or want cocktail ideas or just want to, use me as a sounding board for ideas, things like that. I'd love for you guys to reach out, email, phone, text, whatever you guys want. Love to stay in touch and appreciate you guys having me in here today. Thank you. Awesome. Cool, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.